All right, we are here with Riverside Chats with Mr. Gary Loomis. Pops, we've got a good one for you today. We want to talk about the relationship between lure and line ratings, how that gets figured out when you design a blank. And we've got two examples here, both air carbon. One of them is a air carbon 807, and that one's on the right. The lure rating on that one is 2 to 8 ounces, and there's 8 ounces hanging off of the tip. The other one is a air carbon 725. The lure rating is 3/16 to 3/4, and that's 3/4 hanging off of the tip. Now, the 3/4 are deflected just barely, maybe a half an inch. And then the swim bait 807 that's got the 8 ounces hanging is deflected probably about 6 inches. So again, 2 to 8 ounces, 8 ounces hanging off of the tip, deflected 6 inches, 3/16 to 3/4, barely deflected. Now, what does the weight hanging off the tip of the blank have to do with the lure and line rating of the blank?
Nothing.
Can you talk about lure and line ratings and blanks and what goes in all of that?
Okay. Really, truly, when you design a blank, the fisherman comes in and says, this blank is so long, the action is so, the power is so, what can you do to make a better blank? All I can do is make it lighter in weight, because everything that blank does is exactly what he wants to do to be able to control his lure or his bait or whatever he's fishing the way that works best for him. So when we get down to the lure weighting, what you've really got to do is take the rod and start with a lighter lure and get the rod that will efficiently load that lighter lure. If it doesn't load the lure, you're going to have to step up and have a little bit more weight on it to get it to load. Now, more than likely, it'll only load in the tip. But in a lot of cases, a guy's using lighter line. That's why you got a versatile in the line pound test and the weight pound test. But this is all he wants to do. He wants to fish with light line. Goes with a little bit heavier rod. It loads further back in it, and he gets good efficiency out of it all the way to the back of the rod. A rod is the best way to explain it is like a diving board. You take a diving board that's designed for a 160-pound man, and he runs out on the diving board and he loads that diving board. And that diving board has enough energy to be able to catapult him up 10, 15 feet in the air, showing it is perfectly efficient for that particular weight. You take an 8-year-old kid who goes out there and he weighs 30, 40, 50 pounds. He doesn't have enough weight to load that thing, and so he just will jump off the platform because he's not getting any efficiency out of it. That's when the weight is too low and it wouldn't be recommended on that particular fishing rod. But then you take a big man, 400 pounds, he goes out, he jumps on that diving board, loads that diving board, but that diving board doesn't have enough energy to catapult him hardly off the diving board. And that would be when you put too much weight on it. So in between that, from that perfect weight man going both ways, that's from your small lure weight to your heavier lure weight on that rod. We really check the lure weight after we build the rod. If we want that particular rod in a heavier lure weight, we can add material to it, or we can change the design, but we still have to, after we get done with it, we have to check it for the lure weight, line weight after it gets done.
So these blanks are from two different families. One is a mag bass, one is a swim bait. One deflects more with weight at the bottom, one deflects less. Is there any reason why a blank would deflect a certain way from one family and a certain weight from the other?
Taper, type of material, mandrel that we're using, wall thickness. There's lots of things in designing that blank to fish correctly and have the sensitivity and the efficiency in that rod. We're really talking about the stiffness of the blank from the tip to the butt and what its efficiency weight group is from the lightest to the heaviest. And that's why we have a high and a low in the lure weight. It's within the range that stiffness of that blank and the taper of that blank has. And again, you can't put a weight on it and check what it is. You've got to load it and see it unload to find out the efficiency of that particular weight you have on it. So a rod is sometimes casted off the tip, which you only load that rod this much of the rod. The rest of it isn't doing anything because the weight is at the low end of the deal, but it still loads that, recovers it, and throws it very good. Now, you put a 2 ounce on it, and it will load back into here, and it will still load and recover because the tip has already loaded, but now it's loading back into the back part of the rod, which has the energy to throw it further. So this is where we get a lure variation from light to heavy. Like I said, you build the blank for the performance of the blank of what you want that blank to do. Then you go ahead and check the lure weight, because that blank, you can't, to me, you can't make a blank to the right lure weight and to get the right action. Anyway, if you have any other questions, get a hold of me. Thank you.